the one of the the only TAFE in Canberra which has the lots of vocation courses. So I'll hand it over to you. So without wasting any time, and we can start the event. Thank you.
Thank you, Shaz, and thanks to Blue Sky for inviting us on here to talk to everyone. And thank you for everyone that's joined us today. And very sorry for the delay. I was having some issues with Zoom for a while there. So I'll just quickly go through a bit of information about CIT, and then if there is any time for some questions after that, we'll take those. So first off, CIT is the Canberra Institute of Technology. We are the largest vocational education training provider in the ACT in Canberra. We are a TAFE, we are a government provider. We don't have TAFE in the branding, but we are certainly a TAFE provider, and we have been awarded the ACT Large Training Provider of the Year award for 11 years, to give a bit of an idea of the size of CIT in our city. Brief history of CIT. So as you may have seen, we have been around for over 90 years, so we are very established in the city. And we have had international students since 1988, so that's just over 30 years of having international students with us. Of the 20,000 or so students that CIT enrolls every year, around 800 of those are international, and they come from a wide range of countries. But students are engaged with local students in their classes. I will quickly play this video, if it will work. So that's not working. Bear with me a moment, sorry. Yeah, so I'll just play a quick video about CIT. It'll give you a bit of a look at CIT's campuses and facilities. So I thought the video was embedded. Is that sound working on your end, Shaz?
I can hear you. So
you can hear me, but not the music? That's all right.
Not the music.
That's all right. So CIT, I'll just talk through it. CIT has two campuses. So what we're seeing now is the Reid campus, which is quite close to the city. It's about a 5-minute walk from the bus interchange in the middle of Canberra. We have cafes. They're run by CITSA, the Cit Student Association. As you can see, Reid hosts our cookery, our art and design courses. And we also have our Bruce campus, which is about 15-20 minutes north of the city, a bit of a hub of Canberra. We have on-campus student accommodation there. This campus also hosts our human services courses, so things like nursing and aged care. It has, as you can see, a fully functioning gym. Students can join this gym for a bit cheaper than they would a normal gym. We have early childhood education there, and you can see, some of the courses at each of those campuses. So a bit of an introduction to CIT and its facilities. I'll jump back into the presentation. Why isn't that working? So why should a student choose CIT? As mentioned before, we have been around for over 9 years, so we are very well established in the city and the largest vet provider in the ACT. We have a large range of courses available. It does mention there are 5 campuses. I'll go through those in a second. We have industry placement support available during studies. So for example, if you were to study early childhood education and care, it is a requirement of that course to complete 4 separate placements in 4 different childcare centres. There is a staff member that fully coordinates all of that for you. And where that staff member isn't there, the staff in courses have connections in industry. So if you did have issues finding an industry placement, your teachers can certainly help you out with some of their contacts. And our graduates are job ready when they finish. They're job ready with the current skills, and they've been working in training in current environments. As I mentioned before, there's a diverse range of students at CIT. There are, of our student population, there's around 100 countries represented at any given time. And we have study pathways leading to some of Australia's leading universities. The main partner of ours is University of Canberra, which is quite close to our Bruce campus. And then there are the odd, I think, Charles Sturt University and ACU is another big one, the Australian Catholic University. Now, as mentioned, there are 5 campuses. 2 of these, Gungahlin and Tuggeranong, in the north and south end of the city, are drop-in centres, so students living in those areas can go in there, use the computer labs, do a bit of study. Fishwick is our trade school, and as mentioned in that video, Bruce and Reed are the 2 main campuses. That is where all of our international students study, and very easy to get to wherever it is you live in Canberra. Just give you a bit of an idea of where the campuses are in relation to each other. So as mentioned, Reed is our main campus, close to the city centre. Students getting around by bus, very easy to walk from the city to Reed. And students living north and south of the city, again, very easy to get around. As you can see, there's not a lot of traffic. The bus system, tram system is very easy to navigate. Now, CIT has two residents that it owns and operates. The first is Bruce. This is on campus, on our Bruce campus. The other is off campus at Reed. It's a 2 or 3 minute walk from the Reed campus. As you can see, the weekly rate is $185 a week, so very well priced for some student accommodation. They are private single rooms with shared bathroom and kitchen facilities. Now the Reed accommodation is generally full. There are not a lot of spaces there. However, if you are studying at Reed, as I said before, it's very easy to get around Canberra. So the accommodation is certainly available to you. And I think it's about a 15 or 20 minute bus ride from accommodation to the front of Reed campus. So a few options there for our students. There is also homestay that is managed through the Australian Homestay Network, and rates depend on the sort of package you're interested in. And the AIS, the Australian Institute of Sport, they also have some options for our students looking for more than private single rooms. They can accommodate, couples and shared accommodation. So this is Canberra. As you can see, for those that aren't familiar, it's very open, very green. That is Parliament House in the middle there. It's a very easy city to live with, a very good quality of life. I'll see if that video is not playing either. That's good. Sorry, bear with me a moment. So as I said before, and it says there, it is a very easy city to live in, has an incredibly high quality of life. Not only is it clean, it's also a regional city. But as far as the quality of life goes, it's clean. There's very little crime. The cost of living is lower than some other major Australian cities. Very easy to get around, very easy to live in. It is home, it says there, to over 80 embassies and high commissions. But part of that helps it be a very multicultural city. I think 33 or 35% of people living in Canberra were born overseas. So it's a very progressive, welcoming city to international students. See, there is plenty to do in Canberra. We've certainly lost the reputation we had a long time ago about being boring and nothing to do. Certainly things to do in Canberra, and it has started developing a very good reputation. As you can see, they're great food, great restaurants, bars and cafes. Being the capital, obviously home to a number of the main institutions of Canberra, whether it's the library or Parliament House or the War Memorial, it really is a capital city. We have a very low unemployment rate, so I think it's usually around 3%. Plenty of job opportunities for students, especially in the casual and part-time area. As mentioned before, affordable student accommodation. Ours is $185 a week, as I mentioned, and there are also a number of lodges around. So very easy to find a place to live. So as the video mentioned and I touched on, it has the lowest unemployment rate in Australia and the highest average weekly earnings. So obviously an international student, they won't be making $1,800 a week. But what that does mean is that money is here to be spent. Because it is a government city, there are lots of public servants with money, disposable income, and for that reason there's constantly new bars and restaurants and cafes opening up. So as I said, part-time casual work for students is very easy to come across. Quality of life, as I mentioned a bit earlier, is very high. It's safe, it's clean, it has the fastest economic growth in Australia and is the most educated city in Australia, with I think it's around 50% or more of the population having higher education qualifications. And again, it is fairly affordable compared to some of the other major cities. Some of those costs, I mean, a lot of these groceries, phone, internet, electricity and gas will be the same regardless of where you are. And I've mentioned the student accommodation. Shared accommodation can also be quite cheap, even in the middle of the city. For example, I live with two friends in a 3-bedroom house with a backyard, and it is about I think it's a 5-minute trip into the middle of the city, 5-minute Uber ride, 10-minute tram, including a bit of a walk, or a 10-minute bike ride into the city. We're paying, I think, $550 a week between the three of us. So very affordable for shared accommodation, nearly in the middle of the city, especially when you compare that to places, to other capital cities where it can be quite expensive to live in the city. And travel is also another big one. As a full-time student, you are eligible for 50% off your public transport costs. So that is either the tram or the bus. So if you were relying on getting to and from CIT by bus, we've calculated it would come to about $20 a week with that 50% discount on student public transport. Very quickly, sort of where Canberra is in relation to everything. We are obviously an inland city, but it's a very quick drive to Sydney if you wanted to get up to Sydney. Murray's buses and Greyhound offer, I think it's tickets for around $30 one way, and they leave every hour. So it's very easy to get to and from Sydney. We're only a 1-hour flight from Melbourne. If you want to go to the snow or go to the beach, it's only a 2-hour drive to each of those. And just over the border in Murray-Bateman and the Yass region, there is a very, very good, highly regarded food region. So plenty to do around Canberra as well. Now the courses that are available at CIT, we have courses in areas from art and design, hospitality, human services, and so the business areas. The main courses that a lot of our students go into are these 8, what we refer to as our champion courses. So they are accounting, commercial cookery, early childhood education and care, nursing, which unfortunately at the moment we are receiving a lot of applications for, and the next available intake for that isn't until October next year, but we are certainly accepting applications. Graphic design, IT, building construction in both building and management, and community services. So a number of these, commercial cookery, early childhood, do have industry placement built in, and they are also courses that students look at when they want to find employment upon finishing their studies. So these are numbers that came from the government, and gives you a bit of an idea of job availabilities, sort of expected earnings. So if that is the goal, is to find employment in a certain field, then those are the sort of courses that do have that opportunity. Now, the student support available at CIT for our international students is fairly comprehensive. From the first day students arrive, there is an international student orientation for them run by our team. Throughout studies, so our office also has dedicated international student advisors. So these are 2 advisors who are there for students who are maybe not meeting the requirements of their course, may have issues with their visa, any sort of issue that an international student has. There are people within our team that are there to help them. There are also pastoral care officers within each course. So every course will have a dedicated international pastoral care officer that is there for support. CIT obviously has its own counselling services, so whether it's an academic, personal or career issue, that service is available for our students. A range of different tutorial support, so whether that is this Your Tutor system that our students can access, or peer tutoring or drop-in sessions, there's plenty of support there. And there is also the CIT Student Association, or CITSA, who they can help working out which bus you need to catch, putting together a resume if you're looking for work, and they also manage some of the social elements of CIT. So whether that's an orientation day at the start of the year, or some social activities throughout, they're there for our students as well. Now, quickly over these, the general entry requirements for the majority of our courses. So all of our courses require at least a Year 12 certificate equivalent. And if you are studying on a student visa, you must be 18 years old when the course commences. Now, there is an IELTS requirement of 5.5 for most of our courses. There are a couple that are a bit higher, for example, early childhood education and care, or nursing. And we do ask for a statement of purpose from all students. Now, Blue Sky will certainly be able to help you out with that. The GTE side of the application is obviously quite important, and that statement of purpose goes a long way for our admissions team to assess each application. And finally, the intakes. February, all of our courses run. So in a couple of months, all programs will have an intake. April and October, we have 4 courses offered. So that is nursing, commercial cookery, early childhood education, and a PTA academic English program. And in July, all our courses except for the art design programs. So that is a bit about CIT, Canberra, and our courses. Shaz, I will throw it back to you.
Thanks, James. It's been wonderful that finally we got you here, and some of the people who are waiting, some of them left, but still we have few audience. and get to have you here. And it's been wonderful that you have given the information in very short time, given the feel about Canberra. Canberra is also a regional city, so
It
student
is,
not
yes.
just only have the benefit is studying over there. The number of benefits is studying Canberra is a regional city. Plus, it's a lot to offer to the students. Plus, the job rate is very high. Employment starting salary is high for the Canberra, and the employability very high. Canberra is also one of the growing city, fastest growing city at the moment in Australia. One of the fastest growing. And also, when the student is studying in the Canberra, they can also have the 1 year extra post-study work visa. So they can extend the 1 year extra post-study work visa while studying in the Canberra. And also, the good thing about Canberra that when the student finishing their study, they have the number if they want to live over there, settle over there, if they change their mind in future. So there's the possibility that while studying over there 2 years, the ACT government they prefer they are in the Canberra matrix for the graduate who studied in Canberra. So they will have a benefit and the upper hand of while they're applying for the 190 state nomination visa, or they will be applying for the 491 visa, provisional regional visa, that leading to permanent visa in future. So that will be a very great benefits while studying at the in the Canberra. So James is here. I know that we have a very not enough time for the Q&A, but still if someone has any Q&A, we will be happy to take any question on board from the audience. So please, if you have any question, feel free to put your question in Q&A, and James and I will try to answer those questions as soon in a better way.
Absolutely.
So if anyone has a question, put it through. We also reach 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. now. So our session was from 4 to 5. Yes, we have been some delay. But still, if you have any question, you can always email to us, and we can get them answered. And if you would like to have any one-to-one counseling,